as Syria has entered a new political era as Ahmed al-Sharaa is named president for the transitional period following the overthrow of Bashar al-Assad. Rebel commander Hassan Abdul Ghani announced the cancellation of Syria's 2012 constitution and the dissolution of the former regime's parliament, army and security agencies. Sharaa vowed to restore stability by forming an interim legislative council and integrating former rebel groups into state institutions. Meanwhile, Syria has urged Russia to pay war reparations for its role in the conflict as Moscow begins withdrawing troops from its key military bases. Before we go back to our guests, we are again joined by Aditya Wadwan, our correspondent. Aditya, how long could it be that Sharaa remains in interim power? We know he's already spoken, of course, about how long elections may take.
Well, Josh, if you see, this was bound to happen because since the HT Hayat Tahrir al-Sham had taken over the affairs in Syria with the rebel groups, he was only overlooking the overall political transition in Syria. So this was expected that Ahmed al-Sharaa will be at some point of time. They had to declare him as an interim president. So as long as no new leader is duly elected and appointed as a president, he will Sharaa will continue as the interim president of the Syria. So far, in the frame, there is no any other probable candidate who can assume the role of president. But let us just put this into perspective at this hour. HTS is a designated terrorist group by the United States of America as well as its Western allies. So it needs to be seen as to how the Western world deals with Syria now since Ahmed al-Sharaa has been declared as the interim president of Syria. Yes, Josh, back to you in the studio.
Of course, and al-Sharaa himself has mentioned that elections may take up to 4 years. And looking at an extended stay for Sharaa, Lev Aaron, how do Israelis feel and how do you think the Israeli government feels about Sharaa being in power on the border?
Look, we do not really know well al-Sharaa. We know that he's like ex-jihadist, maybe still a jihadist. We know well al-Sharaa family. Farouk al-Sharaa was a vice president of Syria, and they both belong to the same jati, we can say. He will try to prove that he is not the jihadist that everybody are afraid of. Qatar will help him to say the right words, because this is what Qatar is doing all over the Middle East. They find the words that the West can digest while they are radicalizing the Middle East, and he will do the same. Now, if he changed his skin, it will take time to see. But as far as Israel is concerned, you will not see a strong Syrian army as long as there are no normalization between Syria and Israel. So on one hand, Iran lost its proxies in 4 countries. In Yemen, they lost a lot of them. In Iraq, in Syria, they lost it all. And in Lebanon, they lost a lot. But still, being a jihadist Sunni is as dangerous as being a jihadist Shia. Thank you.
Levaran, what do you think it would take for Israel to potentially want to use military force against the Syrian forces? Now, of course, they have become institutionalized within the government, but a lot of those rebel groups still exist.
Look, unlike the West Bank, who is actually almost inside Jerusalem and a few kilometers from Tel Aviv, the Syrian border is quite far away from our big cities. So what Israel did, Israel reoccupied territories that were under Israeli occupation between 67 and 73. And also the peak of the pass of the Hermon mountain is also now under Israel. And I don't think Israel has the appetite to delve into the micro politics of Syria, because this will be nightmarish. We remember what happened when we tried it during the first Lebanese war between 82 and 85. We lost it. So I don't think we will get into the Syrian soup. but we will try to protect our borders. And if needed, you will see Israeli soldiers even further to the east of Syria.
Gautam Mukherjee, we of course can't ignore al-Sharaa's links and former links with al-Qaeda. There does seem, however, to be a move from Western countries looking to potentially get rid of sanctions that are in place. Do you think that there will be some countries that are sitting sort of on either side as this moves forward? And what do you think the Western response will be overall?
I think the West will try very hard to move on from the Assad days. You had too many players in Syria. You had Turkey, you had Russia, you had the Americans, you had other allies, NATO allies, you had Israel, and now, and all of it was a very disturbed area. Now, whether it is the Taliban in Afghanistan or the ISIS and their successors with new labels in Syria, it is quite important for both Syria, which is devastated by war of so many years, and practically no means of livelihood except the drugs that they were selling. Now that is being put a stop to by the new regime, at least ostensibly. So they need to revive their economy, give hope to the Syrian people, many of whom are trying to come back, get the foreigners out of the country, the Turks, very interested. The Russians are starting to leave. And as Mr. Aaron pointed out, I mean, Israel is not looking for a problem. It is only trying to defend itself. So as long as these people also decide to do something that is beneficial to Syria but not harmful to others, I think progress can be made. And I think an opportunity exists at this point in time, especially with a tough president in the United States, for actual progress to be made. I do think on the sidelines of this, the Ukraine war will come to an end, the Gaza war will come to an end because of Trump pressure. And as a consequence, the focus will be on Iran not to interfere, and possibly changes in the polity in Iran, maybe a regime change from the Ayatollahs. Now, all of this is, typically representative of a changing Middle East, West Asia area, but there is hope for a better time to come. There's the Abrahamic Accords in the background. There is greater understanding of Israel and the moderate Arabs. There's every chance that we could move ahead from here.
Gautam Mukherjee and Lev Aran, thank you very much.